Welcome to our civics lesson today on God and government. I'm joined today by Dr. Sterling, Lacy, and Joe Cruz. They're both excellent teachers in our church and are probably two of the most knowledgeable people that I know on America's Constitution and our Christian history here in America. They're going to be sharing with us some thoughts on God and government. The question for today is, how is our freedom as Americans tied to Christian involvement in government?
1 Timothy, the second chapter, teaches us that we are to pray for all in authority. There's a unique twist to that teaching in America today because you see all people who work for the government, about 20 million of them at all levels, are answerable to an appointed official. All appointed officials are answerable to an elected official. And as of the last election, all elected officials are answerable to we the people. And so what 1 Timothy, the second chapter, is teaching us is we not only pray for those we've elected to head out our government, but we have to pray for those who have the highest authority. In America, we the people, within the bounds of the Constitution, have the highest authority and therefore the greatest responsibility to see that God's principles are carried out in our civil government.
Well, God has given us this awesome responsibility where we can be involved in choosing our leaders in this representative government. But we have to understand that there's a war going on in our culture. And if Christians are not involved in the war, we're not going to win that war. It's very interesting that we were not created as a secular state, as we're often told. We were created to be a non-sectarian state. We weren't to favor one church denomination over another. So if Christians sit on the sidelines and don't get involved, we will lose this conflict. We will lose our culture. The question is, who gets to define what is good and what is evil? God has already defined what is good and what is evil, so our laws must be in accordance and reflect the principles of God's law. If we just leave the determination of what is good and what is evil up to secular man, what you're going to end up with is a society and a civil government that doesn't look anything at all like the plans that God had for our nation.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 23 commands us, we are bought with a price, do not become the slaves of men. The greatest enslaving force in the history of mankind has been civil government. In the past 100 years, civil governments that have not followed God's principles have disarmed and murdered 170 million of their own citizens, and they enslaved the remaining 2 billion. We see how important it is for us to see all of God's principles and put them into practice, including those for civil government, so that we do not become the slaves of men.
As the election draws near, I want to encourage you to pray for the candidates that God would have you vote for. I would encourage you to educate yourself on their values and do your duty as a Christian citizen to help America remain the greatest nation on earth.